But what is the what's this tier list? I see Zora River guy,
Well,
and I see.
I'm gonna have to explain it anyways because apparently there was no sound when I was explaining.
Why did you
it the
put
first
yourself
time.
in this?
I am here. No. Okay. So y'all have been.
I see Beetle.
We've been ranking dungeons. Last week we did a Goron tier list. I thought it would be really fun to do a merchant tier list to rate every merchant. Well, not every. Initially, I thought every merchant in the Zelda series, but then I was like, I was going through the list, and there's a lot. So I'm just the most, I would say, noteworthy merchants. That's what we're gonna.
There's at least 2.
There are at least 2 merchants. Yes, there are at least 2. No, there are in fact way more.
Beetle and the old man. That's it.
That's it. That's all you get. That's all you get, folks.
I remember a Beetle from like Minish Cap, so it's all good.
Oh, yeah. Please in the chat, let us know how the audio is now. By the way, if it's Charles says working perfectly now. Okay. Good.
Vernon, no, I can't, but I can hit a high C over middle C on a good day. Not a high E though.
Ooh. So I have these arranged. Some of them are cut off on the stream layout here. My apologies, but I have these arranged in not chronological order, but in release order. So we're going to start from the top and work our way to Breath of the Wild, basically. So the first merchant that we need to rank here is the merchants that I just have them all collectively as one entry. These are the merchants from the first Zelda game. Like this guy who says, "Buy something, will ya?" And I'm just going to kick this off and say that I would put him as like a C tier merchant because like very limited stock, not very conversational.
I know you're not being racist, because I know old man wants you to buy stuff.
This is not.
But what
the
about
old
the
man.
bokoblins?
This is not the old man.
This is the old man that wants you to buy stuff in the dungeons. Is this not bokoblin?
They don't sell you. That's not how this works. These guys. You find them in the overworld in caves, and they're so buy something, will ya? And that's it.
All right.
You can get some good stuff, but otherwise it's like meh.
There were bokoblins that was like, would you want to buy this?
No, that doesn't happen. It's a moblin. That's what you're thinking of. Bokoblins didn't exist back then.
They're all the same to me.
I knew that.
Not being racist.
I found the first dungeon in that game.
But they don't sell
not being
you
racist.
things.
Bokoblins, moblins, they're all the same.
They don't sell you things.
Not being
though.
racist.
He says it's a secret to everyone, and he gives you money.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Yeah, he doesn't sell you anything. He's therefore not a merchant.
Yeah,
not on this list.
I know that.
Then why is he on this list?
He's not.
He ain't. He ain't on this list.
He's not here.
We're already having issues, and it's the first one. I agree with C because I have never played that game because I can't find the first freaking dungeon.
You've never played the Hyrule Fantasy?
You wouldn't say that he's a good merchant, though. But he's not, like, bad.
Also, hi, Nate.
Nintendo Prime! How's your summer Prime Gaming Fest going? He's doing this.
Have you purchased anything from this bokoblin acting like a moblin, acting like a bokoblin, acting like the old man?
We're gonna move on.
You're all wrong.
Probably for the best.
All right. Next is the witches from A Link to the Past. They basically run this game's potion shop. You can buy potions from them, but I would bump them up to, I would even call them B tier merchants because Maple, the younger
Which game?
witch, A Link to the Past.
Link to the Past.
She'll give you free samples if you go in and talk to her. She's like, "You're cool. Here you go, free sample," and she'll just give you a free sample of red potion, heals you all the way on the spot.
And you say B?
Like that. So I'd say B tier because other than that, they're not like
fantastical
merchants, but they're good merchants. That's a good merchant.
Where's she located?
North of the Eastern Palace. But like on the road towards Zora's domain. It's the witches. You know the witches. Come on. You know the witches.
I know them. They return in maybe return in A Link Between Worlds.
But I didn't include the Link Between Worlds version because I felt that would be redundant because it's basically the same character. So
that is a lie. There's like hundreds of years. Maybe
not the
in
same
between,
character, but basically the same character. That's why I only have one version of Beetle here, even though Beetle shows up.
It could be like
Right?
It could be like 10 seconds after A Link to the Past. It could be like
No,
10 years. It could be 100 years. We don't know.
we know. We know. All right, we're going to move on. This guy is the street merchant from A Link to the Past. The only thing he's good for is he will sell you an empty bottle, but he will sell it to you for a whopping 100 rupees very early in the game. It's a lot of money for how early in the game you encounter him. And you can literally walk down the street and get a free one by breaking into the back room of the milk bar.
We
So,
can, but I also want to tell Nintendo Prime, we all do remember you. You're the guy that runs Zelda Informer.
he used to. Back in the day.
I know,
Back in the
because he
day.
said no one remembers me in years.
They ought to.
Yeah.
They ought to.
So I imagine he's like cosplaying as his Zelda
I
Informer
think
years.
he's joshing around. But what do we think of the
But
street
Nintendo
merchant?
Prime is like 10 times more successful.
You know where I'm going to put this guy, Jesse? Geek? I'm going to put
Somewhere
him in
where
D
I'm
tier.
not interrupting you.
I'm going to put him in the D tier because 100 rupees is too much for an
Ooh.
empty bottle. And that's all he sells you.
Agreed.
He
I
sells
haven't
you-
played that game, so I can't say anything to it.
There you go. All right, this guy
Empty,
is...
Aonuma once said empty bottles are the most powerful items in all of Zelda.
They are, but that's beside the point. This next...
But you put him in
this-
D.
Yeah, well, I don't like this guy.
You're
I
literally
don't like
saying
him.
he sells you the
Yeah,
most
but here's the
powerful
thing.
item in
Here's
all
the
of
thing.
Zelda.
He has one thing for sale. What kind of merchant has that? Only one thing for sale.
What do you have for sale? What do you have for sale?
I'm not a merchant.
Daniel's not a merchant. Unless he's Beetle. But no.
He is Beetle. Have you not watched any of the last 200 episodes of the podcast? Daniel is Beetle.
Okay, this next merchant is the shopkeeper from Link's Awakening. If you steal from him, he will literally
Ooh.
murder you.
Yeah.
A tier.
A tier. A tier. A tier. Because he's a pretty good merchant. He's looking after his stock.
Just because of his power.
He's
So
powerful.
he's not the one that calls you thief?
No, he is the one that calls you thief, and then he shoots lightning out of his hands
Yeah.
and murders you.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I-
I'd say A tier.
I
Pretty
honestly, I
powerful.
never stole from him in the remake, so I wouldn't know. I was
never
like,
did
I learned
either.
my lesson the first time, sir.
Yeah, we're not going down that road again.
Here's
Yeah.
10% extra.
Here you go. Yeah, no, we're not, we learned from.
I'm just gonna go to the claw game.
There you go. Yeah, no, I think it's fair to not steal from him again after that. But yeah, he's definitely powerful. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our next merchant is the bean seller from. Ocarina of
Wait.
Time and
I
Majora's
have
Mask.
another question.
All right.
Oh my
For-
gosh.
Unrelated. Well, you sent
Mhm.
Rick and I, 𝗏𝗏 Gaming. For those who don't know,
Yeah.
go check out his channel.
RFH, aka real.
He said, I have all these assets from Zelda's website. Is this why you got those assets?
No, this I just took from Zelda Wiki. Did you look at the assets I sent you? They're just a bunch of like icons and stuff. But they look very nice. They look very
The
nice.
assets I got from Zelda Wiki are a lot more than icon. I had to write a letter and say thank you.
Oh. The bean salesman is next.
Oh, hey,
Are you sure though?
can't get that big Goron sword without it.
B?
You can. You don't need him for the big Goron
You
sword
can.
quest.
What?
You don't.
Yeah, you
need him.
do. You need to put the beans in front of Dodongo's cavern.
That's unrelated. You don't need
Oh.
that for the big Goron sword.
No, you do.
You do not.
Well, I do.
No, you do not.
I just suck
Google it
so
right
horribly.
now. Google it right
I need those beans.
now. Not for the big Goron sword though. If you need them, it's for
I
a different
do.
reason.
I need those beans.
No, you do not. You need the
You
chicken.
going up in pasto, Jesse?
you,
Your boy.
you need a chicken.
Oh, my
You
head.
need a poacher's.
I don't know what you're
saw.
doing with those chickens, but I need those
You,
beans.
you need a weird mushroom. You need a broken sword. You need a frog, and you need eye drops and a prescription. But you do not need beans for the big Goron sword.
I need beans.
No, no, No.
You're just jealous.
Also, first of all, I'm gonna put him in C because I think he's not a great merchant. He eats all his stock, and then he keeps raising the price.
He's a dummy.
He raises the price every time someone buys from him because he thinks he's hot stuff.
Yeah, it's multiple of 10 rupees each time.
No. Yeah, actually it is. Sorry, I got too used to
Now who's
disagreeing
wrong?
with you. There's another
Even in
bot
Majora's...
here. Another bot. Just dealing with that, sorry. In both Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, he eats all the beans that he's supposed to be selling. How are you supposed to sell those beans if you
like, who wants to buy beans from a swamp?
Deku scrubs.
Who wants to buy seeds from the sewage system of a swamp?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm saying C, maybe even D, but I don't know if that's too harsh. What do you guys think?
I'm C or D.
C or D? Jesse?
Yeah.
What about you?
I guess he can stay in C because he lets you do the cool version of Din's Fire.
What are you talking about?
When you're flying on a magic bean plant and you can do Din's Fire and it shows the full circle.
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough.
And then you can get the cow's milk and stuff under the Gerudo Bridge and other junk.
Other junk. You can reach places with the beans, but as far that's just the beans being cool, not him.
C, because it depends on how you use it.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. All right, our next merchant here. This is the bazaar owner from Ocarina of Time. He's not dressed appropriately for work.
C?
And
No, not at all.
But he runs a nice shop.
C?
Yeah, I think he's a C tier merchant as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's
He
like
does
the only
what
reason
he needs to do.
he doesn't need to do anything. He can be like, I want to buy this from you, but
I
can go get it for free in the graveyard.
I think he might have.
And he's like, why are you stealing stuff from people's graves? And you're like, because you're overcharging.
You're overcharging. I'll just get a free one from by grave robbing.
I'm desperate, man. I'm desperate.
All right, C tier's fair. This is the potion shop owner from Ocarina of Time.
Natsu says he eats the beans to show you how good they are.
Oh no. Oh no. I'm actually I would say the potion shop owner, he looks a little too much like Pro Jared for me. So
Oh no.
So I'm gonna say
yeah.
F tier.
Oh my gosh, I see it now that you're saying it though. Oh man.
You can't
Now-
unsee that.
Oh, thank you.
You can't.
I remember
Yeah.
one time. I'm not even gonna say it. Just give him an F.
He's F tier. All right, fair enough.
I was friends with.
With who?
I was friends with no one related to him. Just never mind.
All right.
Just
Okay.
F.
That's
Yeah,
F tier.
we'll go with that.
All right, this brings us to
No,
the
that's
carpet
nothing.
merchant. He floats on a carpet in the middle of the desert, and he only sells you overpriced bomb chews, but he won't tell you what he's selling you until you pay.
Oh, what
Therefore,
number was he?
F tier for me.
What number was he on our top 10 most powerful people in
I
Zelda
don't remember what
series?
number he was. I don't remember actually.
It was a top 20 list, but I think it said top 10.
But I think as far as merchants go, he's like he's definitely got like a flying.
Does he have the
carpet, and that's cool.
entrepreneurial ship?
But as far as being a merchant goes,
As
he's
far
like,
as entrepreneurial ship.
yeah, well, there's that. Shoot, you know what I just realized about there's one important one that I've actually missed that I'm going to grab here. But what do you guys think about the
I don't
carpet
think
merchant?
you missed. He was just so great in his entrepreneurial ship, you didn't realize he was an actual salesman. You thought it was just something that you needed to buy. Like, you didn't even think this is a salesman. You're like, this is just standard for every living human being alive.
Okay.
I think that's what happened.
I am confused, but that's okay. That's okay. The carpet merchant, though, Jesse, what do you think?
You really put him at F?
He doesn't even tell you what he's selling and demands you pay more than you actually should, more than the product is worth.
He can float, like he uses the power of entrepreneurship to float over a sinkhole.
He uses some crazy magic.
Oh?
But that doesn't make him a good merchant.
So you're agreeing he has magic?
Yeah, for sure. He's got some kind of magic.
He is one of the few people in Ocarina of Time that has the power of magic. And yet he's using all that magic just to be like, hey, you want to buy this? Yes? No? The only way you can buy this is if you have boots that you got from someone's grave, I guess?
His hair scares me. That's enough to put him in F tier.
Jeez, Geek.
There you go. There you go. Geek knows what.
I was your biggest fan until like 4 seconds ago.
Oh, no.
Actually, no, my mom is my biggest fan. Excuse me. Scared whiz-bangs.
I was your, like,
my
Scared
biggest fan.
whiz-bangs.
I was your 4.5 biggest fan.
She was in my stream earlier today. And then she called me later. She's like, were you annoyed I was in your stream? I was like, no.
No, why would that
Can
be?
we send your mom a chair?
Is that
Okay,
chair?
I am, though. When she comes to visit for my birthday, I'm forcing her to stream with me, and I'm going to use my butterfly chair, and she'll sit in this because it's comfier.
Perfect.
And she's older than me. She'd probably get mad.
should
Like,
I
are you
message-
calling me old? Be like, well, you have to be older than me to have birthed me, so...
So,
Makes sense.
should I reply to emails and be like, yeah, you can send a chair if you want? Oh,
My
there's,
mom won't use it.
there's potatoes in the...
Potatoes. Oh, thanks, Geek.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Why is it happening to y'all's channel? It better not happen to mine.
Tingle. That is why. He's taken over the tier list.
Yeah, let's move on. Who's the next person on the list? Daniel?
Okay, so we're in agreement though that that F tier for the carpet merchant. Yeah.
At the very least, you and I are.
Why do we have a close-up of Tingle's belly?
Oh, well, you know why.
I'm not complaining.
You know why.
I'm just wondering.
Because I kind of realized I forgot. I actually had an image of him set aside, and I forgot to add it in here. So.
This is because you were
Yeah,
going...
earlier I was gonna be like, is Tingle not? Hold on.
Oh, he's
Wait,
on
so are you going in order from
Release.
release?
release order. Yeah.
Yeah.
There he is. But we'll get to Tingle in a moment. This next merchant we need to discuss
Is Grandma.
No. This
No?
is the business scrubs. All of the business scrubs. The business Deku scrubs.
Or Majora's Mask?
From all games that they appear in, which is
Yeah.
Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Minish Cap they're in as well.
Do you have Grandma from Ocarina of Time that sells a blue
Look,
potion?
I can't have every merchant in here.
She's the most important.
That is. Ocarina of Time is my favorite Zelda game.
It's the bizarre dude's mama.
Yeah, which is better than the carpet merchant.
Sure.
But look, I'm just putting them all in here. Every business Deku
What about the
scrub-
guy that owns the empty house in Ocarina of Time that you can never go in?
Jesse, I can't fit every
Because-
merchant. I had to cherry pick.
Uru Zelda can't release.
I had to cherry pick. I'm sorry. We couldn't put every
Okay.
merchant.
It's okay. I
But,
forgive you.
but the
That doesn't mean everyone else should.
that's
Just
fair.
like send him harassment on Twitter, Capped Burgers.
Oh no, please do not.
No, he's getting enough
Okay.
of it in his streams.
This Deku scrub. Actually, this Deku scrub represents all business scrubs, and I hate
The
them
Deku
all.
Scrub is my cousin.
I want to say F tier. I hate them all. They're so annoying. They
Yeah.
don't have anything good.
What
they
about the
attack
one
you.
behind the lava in Dodongo's cavern that I
They-
didn't find out about until like 2 months ago?
What about the fact that they attack you before you actually can do business with them? What
2,
about
3,
that?
1. That's all I have to say.
I'm putting them in F tier.
2, 3,
Yeah.
2, 3, 1.
2, 3, 1. Those aren't merchants. Those aren't the business scrubs.
I know one that doesn't attack you. Deku Seeds upgrade with Slingshot. Ocarina of Time, Lost Woods, First Right.
Is that a business scrub though? Not all the Deku scrubs.
Is laser tag a business?
Not every Deku scrub is a business scrub. That's a very specific type
Is
of
laser
Deku.
tag a business? Not every laser tag match you have is a business.
Jesse. Ooh, I clicked a thing by accident.
Yeah, and I picked a partner by accident on this YouTube channel because he doesn't agree that all Deku scrubs are business scrubs.
Not all Deku scrubs are business scrubs. Okay, F tier. I hate
So what's
them.
the next one?
Sorry. Keith?
Next, he gives you a Deku seed upgrade.
Okay, this is the bomb shop guy. He sells bombs. We're moving on. Bomb shop guy. I'm gonna put him in C tier next to the bazaar guy. What do you guys think? He sells bombs.
Sure.
All right.
Wait, what is this from? I can't barely see the image.
He's been both Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, and he sells bombs. He's very. I'll enlarge him just.
We have a
for
super
moment.
chat.
A super chat.
You know who sells You know who sells super chats? YouTube.
YouTube does.
That pays for the lights in my house.
Vernon, thank you for the super chat. Do the Spider's Curse family from Ocarina of Time count as merchants? I'm gonna say they do not. They're just some rich people that got cursed. So bomb shop guy, C tier. So far we've been pretty harsh on these merchants.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, see. He's average.
He's average. This one is a different one. The Happy Mask Salesman. He is technically a merchant.
I didn't even vote.
Too bad, Jesse.
You want to know how rigged this tier list is,
you
everyone watching?
Ample
To the
opportunity.
32 of you that are still watching?
You had so much opportunity.
This is rigged. I did not even vote.
All right, cast your vote then, Jesse. What do you think about the bomb shop guy?
Which one? Twilight Princess?
Oh my goodness.
Because like we just blow his entire shop up. I don't think he counts.
No, not Barnes from Twilight Princess. That's later. He's on here though. Don't worry. No, he's
Okay, good. Because he doesn't count.
He doesn't count. Oh, okay.
Because we blow his shop up.
Well, yeah, but then he rebuilds it.
If you don't have a shop, you're not a shop.
No, you only blow up the storehouse. The shop remains untouched, and he.
We're talking about Ocarina of Time, Daniel. We'll get to Twilight Princess in a moment.
We'll get to Barnes. We'll get to it.
I used to own a barn.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we dried fruits and vegetables in it.
All right, we got to move this along, Jesse. So,
we had goats and cows too.
Happy Mask Salesman.
S.
S tier.
Just.
I apologize for the
He's so
burp.
mysterious. He's S.
He's S tier, yeah.
S, yes. Wait, what? What? No.
You don't think so, Jesse? Happy Mask Salesman?
As a salesman?
He is a merchant. Technically, he's a merchant.
He gets people into a lot of trouble because of exploring for Majora's Mask, but like
he had to have that rare mask. That's why. I get it. I get the hustle.
He already had it.
He had it. He went to great lengths
Yeah,
to
and
get
then-
it though.
I have to say though,
I'm
he
sure
went
he
all
went to
these
great lengths to get the bunny hood as well.
This demonic mask, he knew it was demonic, and yet he got overtaken by a forest scrub, if you will, and his two fairies.
This
It's
is
kind of
true.
sad and neglectful.
Mm-hmm. Bunny is in the chat asking
Daniel?
if Mallow's on the list, but Mallow
Yes.
is. We'll get to him. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Mallow don't. If you seen our top 10 video that talked about the top 20 Zelda most powerful characters, Mallow don't need to be on the list. He's above the
He's
list.
above the list. Okay, Tingle, also S tier. He sells maps.
Didn't give my vote on the mask salesman.
Jess!
You're taking too long, Jesse.
Jesse!
It's midnight.
Come on.
Is it?
I told you we gotta
Okay,
move
yeah.
this along.
We started like 30 minutes late. Okay.
We gotta move this along. Mask do
B.
you want to contest it? You were saying
B.
B? Why B for mask salesman?
2 out of 3. SSB equals A.
What?
No.
What?
Because if you're doing like 1, 1, and 3, then the average is like somewhere between 1 and 2 each. Keep it in
Well,
1.
are we trying to go with compromise or majority wins? I think if two say the same thing, we have to go with majority.
We all live in America.
But if we all said different things,
We all
have to
live
go
in
with
America. This is a democracy.
We don't all live in America.
Technically, we're a democratic republic, but still.
Yes, it is. So like the minority votes for the majority,
Okay.
basically. So Daniel,
Why, Jesse? Why do you say B? What's your reasoning?
because of Italy, the ancient Romans. That's where the
What?
Republic was first started.
Are we talking about the happy mask salesman?
Yes, but we're talking about the voting rights.
No, but Jesse.
He also has Mario on his bag, therefore
S
S.
tier. There you go.
Yeah.
And Elvis.
Just put him in
S.
S. It doesn't matter. He doesn't sell you anything. He just rents it to you, and then he wants like 1,000% profit.
And you sell it, and then you're the
Oh,
merchant.
do we have a? No, that's Spider House. Never mind.
All right.
Okay, what's the next thing?
Tingle, S tier, no argument. I won't hear it.
As much as I hate him, yeah, S tier.
He is S tier. He sells maps at a reasonable price, and they're hand drawn.
And he's smart.
They're hand drawn map. That man's an entrepreneur for sure.
He
And then he
floats
translates
above
maps
the
for you.
dangers of the land.
All right, this is the Curiosity Shop owner from Majora's Mask. He's a sketchy guy. I would put him in D tier.
Put him
A
in
little bit.
D.
He's a D tier guy for sure. And part of it as well is that
I'll
like
go with it,
half
yep.
the time
Questionable.
he doesn't
yes,
even
D.
have things to sell. In Majora's Mask, if you go into the Curiosity Shop, half the time he's like, I got nothing to sell. It's like, what kind of shop are you running here?
Well- He has to steal stuff first.
How can you pay your rent?
Yeah. How does he pay? So not
He has to steal stuff
and
first.
that shop is cramped too. It's not very good. It's not very well kept. It's a very cramped shop.
I mean,
Agreed.
Cafe like to stare in at a lot.
Yeah, but he had a reason. He got robbed and
Does the
cursed.
fisherman count as a salesman?
No.
Mm-mm.
Really?
No,
He
he's
sells you a fun time.
That's not the same. All right, we're getting
Okay.
into Wind Waker time. Beetle, S tier.
S.
Now this
All
is
versions of him S.
yeah for recurring characters. I'm
Especially
just-
Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild versions.
Oh yeah, you know,
I didn't
Skyward
like
Sword-
Beetle until Twilight Princess.
Skyward Sword's version of Beetle, I would say, is my least favorite because he drops you out of his ship if you don't buy anything, and it's just kind of mean.
Okay, but I don't blame him.
Maybe he needs to like
He's
have a
peddling
storefront
it.
at the bazaar or something instead of floating around.
Perhaps.
Just a thought. But
I didn't like Beetle till Twilight Princess.
but just saying, as far as like pretty much in every game he's in, he's like the best merchant, pretty much.
I had
Oh, yeah.
to
That is being really
learn
loud,
Best
sorry.
how
sound
great he
effects.
was after he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And in Skyward Sword, he was like a floating bicycle man. And I was
Yeah.
like, yes, 100%.
Yeah,
He shouldn't be that scrawny if he was. Anyway,
that's true. Next
just saying.
is Zunari, who is not appropriately dressed for the weather of Windfall Island.
Oh, Wind Waker or Wind Waker HD?
It's the
Either.
same. It's the same. For recurring
It's not-
characters, I am just putting them in all like as one entry, right? So this Beetle tier, this is just all Beetles, S tier.
I'm not a fan of how the light gleams off of his forehead or his hat thing in the
Okay.
HD version.
For
It's
Zunari?
too bright for my eyes.
But I would say Zunari's A tier, not S. He runs a good business.
You have
Yes.
to meow for him.
He expands his business in a
You
very
have to
dramatic
meow
way.
for him.
He's very good.
Plus,
You
get
have
the
to
sale.
meow for him.
And he has a
No,
side
you
hustle.
meow for the other girl.
Yeah, you meow to not be caught by the girl. Jesse, you need to play this game again.
What was when? Which one was that? Is that for the Game Boy? I forget.
Wind Waker? Wind Waker,
Yeah,
Jesse?
that was the one made by Ubisoft, right? For the Game Boy.
Oh, no. All right. So, I'd say A tier. Does anyone want to contest that?
A tier.
A tier.
No.
No.
Alright.
I will say for those who are listening but have never watched any of our videos, I've never played Wind Waker, so I don't know what it is. So
Oh, no. All right.
I'll let them vote in the comments.
This is Sarah. This is Beth's mom in Twilight Princess.
You mean
runs the
Saria?
shop in Ordon Village. Her cat is pretty cool, but goes missing and steals your fish. I would put Sarah here in F tier because she
She gives you a bottle of milk.
her cat goes missing and she won't even run her own dang shop because she's upset about her cat. And
Does
I'm
she
like,
give you a bottle of milk or an empty bottle?
she gives you a bottle half full of milk because she gave the other half to her cat after you go through the hard work of finding it and catching a fish, and then she gives all the credit to the cat.
Here's the question I have.
All right.
Is her cat properly trained? And did she send her cat out to eat and drink
Here's the thing.
before someone brings it back to her? That way she doesn't have to feed it herself.
Good question.
The-
I don't know.
Yes.
But
Thank you.
here's what I will
Thank
tell
you.
you is that
It's like
her
getting
cat-
the bee's nuts.
her cat is obviously an indoor-outdoor cat. She has like a special cat door built into the house for the cat to go in and out of as it pleases.
Mm-hmm.
So the cat is like outside doing its own thing, and she's all depressed that the cat is missing. If you're a cat owner and you
Mhm.
have an indoor-outdoor cat like that, that should not be like that should just be a normal occurrence. I'm just putting that out there.
It's true.
But it teaches you to catch the reef fish.
And she sells a slingshot. When you go to buy it, she gives you a hard time about it. She's like, "This is for kids, Link." Like,
But
excuse
it
me,
teaches you.
do not criticize my
How else would you know
purchases.
the other kids in the village want to play with the
Well,
slingshot?
yeah, and I only bought it because all the kids were peer pressuring me into buying it.
Okay, but that's really sad that Link gets peer pressured by children when he is basically an adult.
Yeah, well, he's like the one person that's like in between. You know, like the rest of the adults seem like they're significantly
Yeah.
older, and then the rest of the kids are significantly younger. So Link is like
Oh.
awkwardly in
It's
between.
just him and Elia.
Yeah, exactly. It's him and Hylian. They're just in between. Yeah, it's too bad.
Okay, I'll stop debating you guys. I just seen
No,
what time it was.
I want to know.
I'm sorry.
I want to know your thoughts. But okay, this is Koro.
I mean,
Koro is the lantern salesman in Twilight Princess. I think he's a B tier merchant.
what about his bird?
he
C or B?
he gives you like a free lantern. He sells oil for the lantern. He gives you a free lantern to drum
Is
up
he
business.
synonymous with his bird?
He might as well be. He does have a bird that runs a shop.
That sells you stuff without him being nearby.
That's true. That's pretty crafty. To train a bird to run a shop for you?
Give him A.
You think
I don't care what Geek says. Give him A.
You know what? Yeah, actually, you
I'll
bring up
fight
the
you,
bird thing.
geek.
I'm like,
B
yeah,
or
okay.
C?
B or C? I just said give him A. I will throw water pumpkins at you.
I think,
Excuse
you know what?
me?
I think. Oh, whoopsie! What did I just do?
Pumpkin
I
seeds.
think
I'll
B
throw
is-
pumpkin
I think
seeds at
I'm
you.
gonna say B as well. I
Pumpkin
said B.
seeds cooked right are really tasty.
Yeah, that's true.
I only say pumpkins because Daniel and I had a debate about pumpkins a couple of weeks ago.
So
I
Jesse
just
says
threw out
A.
my pumpkins.
I said B. Geek said B or C. So the compromise here is just to say B in the middle,
It's
right?
B.
Compromises. I'm gonna go to sleep crying tonight.
Good.
So dramatic.
Good. All right. Barnes, the bomb shop guy from Twilight Princess.
Ugh, I don't like him.
You don't like him? Why?
No, he's such a
Yeah,
wimp,
he's
and
a-
he doesn't help at all when it comes to the kids. And
That's-
He has a bomb shop and it's not even fireproof. Give him an F.
Oh, that's a good point. But you gotta hand it to him that his whole storehouse gets blown up, and he gets his business back up and running pretty quick. And as far as being a merchant goes, which is
because he made so much money from selling a bomb shop that's not even fireproof. He has no safety standards. He doesn't have to pay insurance. Maybe all of his money is made from the reason he got his shop back up is because insurance.
Insurance.
D.
Ooh. Okay.
So
I
maybe
think
he
F is
rigged
too
the
harsh.
system. Give him an F.
I think D is. I'm gonna go with the geeks. I'm gonna say D. Because F feels a little too harsh, but yeah.
What's harsh about it?
What's harsh?
Did he invent the fish bombs?
Dude sends you letters just to let you know he's got new items in stock. No other.
Yeah,
merchant
because he
does
wants
that.
money.
No one else.
He wants some money.
You literally could not beat the game if you didn't get water bombs from him. Because you need to get into Lake Bed Temple. But he's
Did he
also got
invent
that
them?
mustache, so that's a big point against him. That's
Doesn't in the HD version
And
he
he
has
doesn't
like
wear shirts that fit properly.
that's true too.
neither do I. Always wear one size larger.
Oh no.
That way no one can like
All right.
see your tummy.
Our next merchant is Mallow, aka the
Were we
king of
finished?
entrepreneurship, aka S tier.
Good lord. As
S
much as
tier.
I hate him, S tier.
S tier. This man
S
sells you
tier,
the Hylian
yeah.
shield.
He tricks you into breaking down the boulder to connect Hyrule.
What? What are you talking about?
What are you?
He
That
doesn't.
doesn't happen.
He doesn't get his shop. He doesn't get his shop in Hyrule Town until that boulder's broken down.
That's not what
right?
happens. That's not what happens. He
He doesn't tell you that's what happens.
No.
But I've played
What
that game
happens
enough
is
to
you-
know that in
You
his
raise
mind,
money to fix the bridge, and then he buys out the Castletown shop. The boulder thing is unrelated. I know the ring shop. It's unrelated. I just played through this game.
is it a Goron?
Yeah, it's a Goron that breaks it for you.
How do you get to Goron Village?
Just the Goron's already there though.
Who owns the only shop in Goron Village? Or before you get to Goron Village?
There's also a Goron that owns a shop. There's Jesse.
Who pays him?
Look, he is a baby, and yet he has a business empire.
Whose baby is it?
That weird guy. That
He's
the
his
weird guy.
own baby.
That weird dude that has like the
The weird.
square looking hair.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait.
He looks weird. They got a water wheel though. That's cool.
Does he really have his own papa?
Yeah, he's got
Yes.
parents in Ordon Village.
Everyone came from parents.
Yeah.
I know that, geek. I just always assumed he was like his
Okay.
own. Like I didn't think there was any lineage.
In the chat here,
I thought it was just like
Bunny brings up a good point. The shop music for Malomart is a bop as well.
yeah, but that's after you
He-
pay for him to pay someone to make
He's
that
being
music.
business savvy. If you bought into it, that's your own fault. He just was collecting donations.
How much was the magic armor?
You know, when he takes over
Much.
that shop, though, he dramatically lowers the prices. It's consumer friendly.
Does he lower the
all
prices, or does he
prices
lower it just for you?
for everyone? They got dancers. They play an awesome song. They get catchy slogans. You will shop there if you're smart. You will shop at Malomart. Come on, Jack.
What else is cheaper in his shop after he gets to my favorite store, not store, my favorite location in Castletown Twilight Princess, where you go up and you can see like through the lookout with the Goron standing there next to the
Goron's
window,
like-
and you can like see down
He
below.
gives you this whole spiel, and then he's like, "So you want to buy some arrows?"
He's my favorite.
No, I like that too.
That's my favorite shop.
That's your favorite.
I don't know why you're buying stuff from this guy that still wears a diaper.
Oh, well, you know,
But the
Gorons are kinda wearing
entrepreneurial ship.
diapers, too.
Give him an A.
Mallow's
the
S tier.
entrepreneurial
I
ship.
won't accept anything less than S.
He's ass.
I will not. What?
Give
the thing
him.
is,
Maybe he's a future Beetle.
just think about like how much effort, how difficult it is to run a business. Okay, and the fact that a baby does it, that's impressive. That's impressive.
Charles in the chat says Jesse is literally frustrating. Because because I'm trying to argue everything.
All right.
I know.
This is
If everyone agrees, it's not a conversation. It's just like a yes.
our next
Yes.
our
Yes.
next merchant. Her name is May. She's in Phantom Hourglass. She is, I'm gonna say D. She is so not memorable for any reason, and she shows up in like 3 different
I don't know who
places.
she is.
Exactly. So she's not bad, because if she was like really bad, you would remember. But like obviously she's not doing
I
anything
will.
That's true.
great. So
If she's rememberable, she'd be like Mallow.
yeah, they can't all be S tier. So
How dare you?
True though, the students whose names I memorize first are the ones I'm constantly having to get to pay attention.
yeah.
Mallow should be minus F tier.
You're wrong.
I'll let everyone know the only reason Daniel has his voice on that top 10 list that I have no idea who wrote. It was just magically sent to me.
This is Miss
And then
Mallow wrote
Daniel
it.
Still edited it. Ended up as number 1. I had no choice in that. That was
'Cause I'm
all
right.
all that entrepreneurial shit. That was all Daniel.
Yeah, that's true in that video. Every mention of entrepreneurship, I wrote into the script.
That actually is a true
That
story.
actually is true.
20% of that video was 20% of that audio was Daniel.
Yeah.
Blame him.
Okay.
Or thank him if you're against me.
Our next merchant is Linebeck the Third. So not Linebeck that you sail with in
Oh,
Phantom Hourglass,
S tier.
but his
S tier.
grandson.
No
S.
conversation. S tier.
Why S tier?
No S tier.
Justify it.
Shush. S tier.
Maybe
Never played
A.
these games, can't comment.
Yeah. See, Geek
Maybe
Geek
A.
agrees. She just said it. She's like,
No,
yes, 100%
I'm
Jesse.
indifferent.
S tier. Nope. You heard it. She said it again.
Thing is,
I'm just deferring to people who've played.
he like
Oh, you agree too?
he blatantly
He's like-
tries to
he's like,
scam
"S tier?"
you. Like he blatantly
He
tries
scams
to scam
you into paying less.
No.
Yes.
No. More.
S tier.
Though you can get.
Alright, fine.
you
Tell
can
us what
get
you
train
think,
cards from it.
Daniel. Fine. Tell us what you think, Mr. Entrepreneurial. Daniel's a Canadian, for everyone who doesn't know.
Yeah, and proud.
And?
So, like Linebeck the Third from Spirit Tracks
I shall be soon enough.
is a
don't
good
worry.
merchant. He gives you can buy train parts from him in exchange for treasure, which the treasure now has value, which is great. But is he S tier worthy? That I don't know. I don't know. He's also got kind of a mustache that I don't care for. Just putting that out there.
I have a mustache I don't care for either, but blame that on Bree.
Oh no. Oh no. Charles says that I'm cheating. Oh no. Oh, Jesse, come back. Jesse, come back. All right, we'll give Linebeck S tier just for you, Jesse. Just for you. I just don't think I can put him up here next to Beetle and Tingle and Mallow.
He is so good.
Like-
100 or 200 years later, his grandson is still in the business.
This is the grandson that we're talking about, though, because the first Linebeck is not a merchant. He's an adventurer.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is Linebeck the Third,
with
the
a great
grandson.
character arc. But
Mhm. Think about it now, Jesse. Think about it.
Okay, fine. I agree with Choobs.
Okay,
Not
A-
Daniel. I agree with Choobs. And she's not here,
Mm-hmm.
so
All right, we've only got a few
she
more.
can't say anything, so it doesn't matter.
We've only got a few more. The next one is Rupin from Skyward Sword. He runs the item shop in the bazaar, and he is pushy. He is pushy.
he is.
Mm-hmm. If you don't buy something, he goes, and he gets all angry. You know, so like, and you can see that like his cheeks are puffing up from smiling too hard. He's like putting on a face, like very much so. So I don't know.
But he's also probably an ancestor of the masked salesman.
Maybe there's a resemblance there. I will.
Yeah,
say,
that's my only thing. It's because of the resemblance.
To Rupin's credit, though, like he actually does sell useful things, like the shield.
Right, I was gonna say the shields.
And like, yeah, so I mean that's pretty good. I might say B. But like his attitude is what gets me. His demeanor.
Yeah. I like his shop music.
The shop music's good.
Yeah.
That's true. Jesse.
B's fine.
Jesse. Jesse, come back. Oh.
You can all on me.
He doesn't want to be here, I guess. They said no more Jesse. All right. Next is her name is literally Love, which is funny. She runs the potion shop in Skyloft.
She's mean.
She's kind of mean. Her husband does all the heavy lifting. She sells the potions, but they're only like kind of good. Her husband has to like infuse them. You know.
Right.
I would say
Okay,
C.
but first,
See.
can we go back to the Lineback for a second? Because
No.
Geek
Why?
never played it. Geek said she never played it,
Right.
or hasn't played too much of it.
Keep in mind, we're not talking about Lineback the first. This is Lineback the third in Spirit Tracks.
Okay,
Let's keep that in
Geek,
mind.
is there any difference between Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks besides Spirit Tracks being obviously better? But don't go on my word. Is there anything?
In a
Is there any?
different time? It's different time periods. Same. I almost said different time. Same timeline, but it takes place years and years and years and years and years and years later.
So what you're saying is no. So Daniel,
What?
I'm siding. I'm
It is
siding.
different. It has better music too.
And
I'm
Lineback's
siding.
great
It really
in
does
Spirit
have
Tracks.
a lot better music. Spirit Tracks, the whole whistle thing, the windpipes. I don't know what they're called. It was really hard to do on a 3DS, the first generation of
Okay, but
3DS.
you know what's even harder? Doing it on the Wii U gamepad.
You know what's even harder?
Yes.
Being Daniel trying to have a podcast talking about a tier list with Jesse.
We only have like what, 1, 2 more left.
Oh, we got 3 more left. We gotta get through this.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Okay, but Jesse.
Geek doesn't. She said she has not much of an opinion on this.
How about this?
So
Y'all go back
let's
to
side-
Lineback after we do the characters I know, so I can
Okay.
admit.
Alright.
Let's side with Tubes. We're gonna side with Tubes on this.
She's not here.
Who's next? Ravio?
Ravio?
I don't know.
S
Yeah.
tier. I love Ravio.
S tier.
When Tubes comes in,
And his system is
she'll
really
decide
good
on Lineback.
items.
Ravio is good, yes.
Any
It's,
merchant who can
it's as
sell
if they
me a
based an
hook
entire
shot.
game based off of his character.
Any merchant who
And I
can
also
sell me
like
a hook
the
shot
story.
is a winner in my books. Just
S tier.
S
And he has
tier.
a little birdie thingy.
That's true. Shiro. He's great. All right, we have 2 left. First is Grante. He is the son of Robbie in Breath of the Wild. And he shows up in
Oh.
Terrytown. A lot of people never actually encounter Grante even, but
So sad.
here's the reason he's so good. Any individual, like, unique item that you can only get in specific locations, like, say, the climbing gear you can only find in shrines,
Yeah.
or the Hylian shield you can only get in Hyrule Castle. If you lose any of those one-of-a-kind items, they're not actually one-of-a-kind because you
Yep.
can buy them from Grante, as long as you have at least once found it. So this is the only
Right.
guy in Hyrule in Breath of the Wild who can sell you a Hylian shield, which is awesome. Yeah, and he's great. He's great. The things are expensive, but they're also like the super rare, one-of-a-kind items. So I think S tier for Grante. I love him. I think he's great. Just for what he
I
sells.
would go more with A.
Oh,
but-
hey, okay.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jesse? Jesse's about to argue. A is valid. That's still very good.
Yeah.
I go with. I'll agree with S.
Oh,
Yes, it is.
yes, it is. There you go. He's a good guy.
See how
Grant.
easy that was, Jesse?
See,
But Daniel, your job's not done. You forgot the most important merchant of all,
all right, our
the-
final one.
the
Kilton.
sun What? No!
This is our final one for
No.
the night. Kilton.
I was talking about the Gerudo that sells the best deal on all the rupees and rocks and minerals and diamonds and stuff.
Jesse, I can't fit every merchant on this list. We've been going too long already.
It's only
moving on.
one.
We're
It's only
moving on.
one.
Kilton.
Kilton is our last merchant for the night. And I think
A or S?
I would say A. I would say A. He's great. Kilton is great, and he is eccentric, but I can't put him up here next to 𝗏𝗏 and Mallow and Beetle. I just can't.
That's fair.
I don't know what you guys are saying. I'm reading a book.
Jesse, where would you put Kilton? Where would you put Kilton? Bonnie says Kilton is S. Oh. That says Goth Tingle. You know where Kilton loses points is that he is scared of Tingle. If you wear the Tingle outfit and approach him, he will like yell and hide because he's scared.
Which I actually think is
Okay,
hilarious.
from my
I
expert
love that
knowledge
the
of
line
mouth
on that
reading,
even works for a hot second.
Right.
from my expert knowledge of mouth reading, you guys were saying that you 100% agree with me and you will not argue, and everything I say from now on goes 100%.
How? What?
Yes. Okay, let's go.
I am way too independent for that to be true.
All right. Jesse, where would you put Kilton?
S.
S? All right, I've been outvoted. S it is. That's fair. He's an eccentric
What?
guy.
Geek, did you say yes?
I said A or S.
Mm-hmm. And
That's acceptable.
that's acceptable with S. All right.
So wait, is this the first person who went on a tier that Daniel did not decide?
No. No.
Name one previous.
I don't remember. Because it doesn't matter that much. Clearly it matters to you.
A lot of them had my opinion too.
It does. It's like the Shadow Temple all over again.
See, we're still on that.
You weren't even. Oh wait, no, you were here for that. Why did I think that was only Daniel and
I
I?
think I'm here for all of them except episode 2.
Oh no.
I had Rick replace me for episode 2, which was a poor choice. Not because Rick and Daniel doesn't get along. Obviously they do.
Oh yeah.
But it was because Rick and Daniel didn't know each other. And I was like, hey, you're a good friend. Rick's a good friend. Why don't you guys have the podcast together? I gotta go to hang out with the Skip the Fate.
That's fair though. You had stuff. You had engagements. You had prior engagements. That podcast still went well, so it was all good. That was years ago though, man.
It was a good podcast. That was like 5 years ago.
Many moons ago.
Oh, that makes me feel old. Okay.
It was good though. It was
How
good.
much sugar did Jesse have today?
All right.
It's more like caffeine.
Is it? Is it though?
I mean, I've been drinking much more diet soda. And even this morning, when I woke up, I wouldn't call it this morning, but when I woke up, Bree was like, what have you been doing today? Because I was super hyper, and I was like, I just had a really good nap.
Fair. Oh,
So-
I need to fix this. Oops. Hold on a moment here.
Okay, instead of 3 each, are we done with the
I think
tier
we're
list?
finished with the tier
So-
list here.
because it's so late, instead of doing 3, if we do 2, because I'm sure Geek has to leave.
It's not that I have to, because I don't have work tomorrow, because I'm off, but I am so tired and my head hurts.
That's fair.
Understandable. We will do 2 final questions. 2. 1 for each of us. 2.
All right.
Geek, before you leave,
Yes.
would you like us after you leave, or would you yourself like to let everyone know where they can find more of you and your live streams and whatnot?
I will go ahead and do that now. I am the Geek Apprentice. You can find me here on YouTube as the Geek Apprentice. I make videos, haven't in a while because I'm a dance teacher and we just had a recital which involved like 10 hours of work a day the whole week before and like 2 weeks before. Anyway, I stream whenever I feel like it. been doing a lot of Animal Crossing, completely redid my island. We'll eventually get back to Kirby and Twilight Princess, maybe, maybe not. And yeah, I make videos. I have a video that I had hinted toward like a month ago, and maybe now I'll actually do it. So yeah, that's me. I also have an Instagram. But that's about it. I talk about geeky things like Zelda and Animal Crossing, and How to Train Your Dragon, and what do I still talk about? Because I don't talk about much things. Hunger Games. That's what it is. All right, but that's everything for me.
Thank you for being here. And
I shall now peace
Thank
out.
you. Before you leave, is there any game coming up that you're excited for?
it's okay if there's not. That's valid.
Breath of the Wild 2.
Yes.
That's valid.
Wait, no, I am excited for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which is this year. Open world.
Okay.
Mhm.
Hint, hint. Pokemon Company, if you want to send Geek more stuff.
Ed, take it. Can I have a plushie of Lechonk?
Lechonk. Yes.
I need him
Give us
in
the
my
chonk.
life.
Give us the chonk.
That or that pretty kitty.
Sadly, I only know one person that works at the Pokemon Company, and I don't think they were involved with anything that has to do with us. So,
Mm.
Ah, crap.
but
on crap.
hopefully, come this, cross your fingers for this holiday season.
Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go. I is
Right.
tired.
Grüß night, Geek.
Grüß
Good
Nacht.
Nacht. Bye, y'all.
Bye. And then there were
Okay,
two.
uh,
I say that every time, I think.
Everyone, yes.
Yes.
Everyone who is waiting, if you have a question for us to answer, we will answer 2, maybe 3, if it's a super duper great question.
Mhm.
What question do you have for us to answer? It is Daniel and I. Geek just left. Tubes sadly was not able to make it. Every time any of us is not able to make it except for I. It is a tragic, horrible
Nasty.
inconvenience to the rest of the world. But no, wait, that makes it sound like it's the opposite of what I just said,
Oh,
I think.
what?
Because I said it's an inconvenience, which means it's like an annoyance
Yeah.
for the rest of the world. But then I said like unless it's it's an annoyance. But even what I meant is if I miss it, it's not a big deal. If everyone else misses it or if someone else misses it, then it is a big deal. That is what I meant. I'm not good with my vocabulary.
That's okay.
Forgive me,
I
but-
will not.
Daniel.
Jesse.
I don't blame you.
No, I'm just I'm
Do
joking.
we have a question?
Do we?
That's the important thing.
Do we? Natsu said, did you know Daniel has legs? Did you know that, Jesse?
I've seen him. Natsu, you see me here? I'm talking directly to you.
I have legs.
I have stood in line with. Are you to my left or right on the thing? You're to my right?
Your
Okay.
right? No, wait.
Natsu.
Your left. The audience is right.
No,
No, wait.
if I'm pointing this way,
No, wrong way.
that's my right.
Okay, then other way. Your left. That's what I said.
It's
Your
it's
left.
reversed.
Yeah, your
This
left.
is my right.
Yeah, so your
It's
left.
reversed for you.
Yeah, I know.
This is my right. This is my right.
Ask which side of you I'm on. Your left. The audience is right.
Yes. I'm talking to the audience.
Point the opposite way from the Majora's Mask. That's my answer.
Hello, Natsu.
Ugh.
I'm Jesse. You're Natsu. We all know you.
E3 was all
How
a
you doing?
dream. Oh. That's why Summer Game Fest is happening.
Daniel over here. I've seen his legs. He has been...
All of that build up.
He's been in the room with me before. He's been within...
I've been alone in a room with Jesse. How do people
He's
feel
slept
about
a
that?
week in a room with me. He's been 10 feet of me before. Naked.
I wouldn't say naked.
I would say naked, as
I wouldn't.
the quote from NEKKID. That version of naked.
What?
Second year. In the shower. We shared the same shower. I'm pretty sure I was in the bed while you were like 10 feet across in the shower. With the door closed. Important.
That is
Maybe
important.
locked.
That's
Who
a very
knows?
important detail.
We get weird sometimes.
That's a very important detail.
But we all, with Rick, nope, not Rick, Gibbs, with Gibbs, was in Tubes' bed. Under the cover.
Well, she was not there, though. That's also an important detail.
No, but she came in the room, and that was the whole point. It was a surprise.
All right, here's a question in the chat.
So,
from
the point is, seriously!
seriously, what?
All those deleted messages, Jesus.
All those deleted messages from the spam bot? Is that what? The spam bots?
I assume it's some idiot who already watches both of our channels because it seems like the same bot that goes to all of our channels.
I have no idea.
If you're a Zelda fan and you're putting out that bot, I promise you, no one's going to click on your stupid channel.
True.
But enough of that. Just quit
Okay.
being an idiot. Quit being stupid. Daniel,
Jesse,
how can I convince Natsu to marry me?
you can't.
Okay, fine then. What's our first question then?
Arson in the chat said, I just rewatched, also sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I just rewatched the podcast from E3 a while ago. That was a while ago.
I feel sorry for you.
Would you guys ever consider going back? I would, if it was an in-person event again. I would.
We had plans to go back.
We did. The thing is, like, half the fun of it is just seeing other people and getting, like, the whole gang together. Yeah. That's really more of the appeal than the E3 event itself. So, yeah.
We even made plans for this year. But passport stuff, I won't say who, but Bree
But that sounds like
earlier.
you.
I won't say who, but Bree in the chat. So my sister-in-law, my brother's wife, mentioned it took her like 2.5 months or something like that to get her passport. I applied for mine. It's been over 5 months for me to get mine. Bree mentioned, I think, someone earlier who got hers or his and within like a week.
Wow.
And then I think there was someone else that we mentioned that it took like a few months for them to get theirs. We were talking about this like literally just earlier this day because we were both ticked off because it's taken so long. And like in some cases it takes like a week, or some cases it takes a few months. And for some reason for me, they're like, we're just not going to give you this list for some reason, but we're going to lead you on like a horrible person who's like, I'm going to take you out for lunch. We're going to have chicken Alfredo, which is the best dinner you could ever have, unless you're Daniel. In which case, we're just going to have Alfredo with the greatest cheese you could ever have.
Oh, cheese. The year that the first year we did E3 in person, 2018, yeah. I was like getting ready like ahead of time. Maybe it was like a month or so ahead of time. And I realized my passport had expired. So I got it renewed and everything. and I got it in it was like a couple weeks. I got it, I think, like maybe a week before the trip. So I think I must have been like less than 3 weeks that I got mine. And and so it's doable. is what I'm saying.
No, it is. But I think
But-
Bree mentioned at the beginning of this whole COVID pandemic thing,
Mm-hmm.
someone she knows, I think, she mentioned that like someone took like 5 months to get theirs.
That's
but
so
that was
long.
like at the beginning of the whole pandemic thing.
Sure, but that was
And
like
it seems like that's taking as long as it's been taking me. And it sucks because I think even Tubes, one of the co-hosts on our podcasts, mentioned she had taken time off from her job months ahead of time.
mm-hmm.
Mr. U.S. government, if you're listening.
Mr. Government.
Yeah. Took months ahead of time, like her vacation or time off of her job, so that I could go to Canada during that time. And I had planned
Right.
way ahead of time
Mm-hmm.
financial obligations to make that trip. And it never happened because they're just like, nope, it's in processing. And I'm just like, are you really? And
Yeah.
it took, like I said, my brother's wife 2 or 2.5 months to get hers.
Right.
And I applied like a little bit before her. And I even applied for like the extra whatever. So at this point, I'm just like, I'm really frustrated.
Understandably so.
Other than that, sorry for being aggravated by your question brought up.
No.
It's not your fault.
Although in
It's just-
theory,
I guess
if
a mix
for
of
E3,
stuff. Yeah. Oh, yes, Daniel.
in theory, like relating to this question, if for E3 you wouldn't need it because you're not going international, right?
No,
So-
but like I applied in February.
I know. Oh, I know. It's been taking
Like, that's
way
the thing is
too long.
like,
But
like
Yeah.
I
know
was
it
like,
stinks.
well, I'll be at Bree's house a few weeks ahead of time. I'll be able to fly to Daniel's
yeah,
like a week before E3 is supposed to happen. And then I'll be able to go back to Bree's for a few weeks after. And it was this whole thing I'd planned out. Had money
this,
saved up, all that nonsense.
was this
And
separate
it's
from
like-
our original plan trip? Because we were talking about like doing
No,
stuff
no.
in April. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that was like me planning ahead of time because I applied for it and I was like, oh, well, my brother's wife, it took her 2 months to get hers, so maybe it'll take a month or two for me to get mine.
mm-hmm.
So I was like, maybe
Maybe.
by this time, which we're in the middle of June now, I was like, because the whole thing was planned around E3 time.
Yeah,
Because I don't know if you guys noticed, but last year there was no E3.
there was not. No, there was, but like, there wasn't.
There was not a real E3.
Not a real one. Yeah, they had like their digital event, which was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyways, let's do 2 more happy questions.
Yeah. Throw your questions in the chat, peeps. Do you have one picked out, Jesse? Is there any in the Discord?
Oh, Bree just messaged me.
Is it with a question?
Bree. Daniel, have you watched? Have you?
How much watched? What? What is it?
Does the word Vecna mean anything to you?
Vecna?
Have you watched anything Stranger Things related in the past 6
I
months?
haven't watched any Stranger Things.
Okay, that is not a question, Bree. I apologize,
I'm
I love you,
sorry.
but
I'm
that is not a
planning on it.
question that can be answer.
I'm behind on the times. Sorry about that.
That means you haven't played Dungeons or Dragons either.
Dungeons or Dragons. You only get to pick one. Do you prefer Dungeons or Dragons?
Dungeons for me.
Yeah, I would pick Dungeons too, actually. Especially if it's the Skyward Sword dragons. Ugh, none for me. Yes.
Damn, Daniel.
How dare you?
I said a bad word. Nintendo, if you want us to review your Pokemon products, I apologize for saying damn.
Alright, here's a good one. This is in the Discord. From Still Sane.
Daniel, who's this?
That's old Greg. Oh
Gee.
no, that's not old Greg. It changed. It changed. That one, the green one. Yeah, I saw that. I was tagged in that. I saw it. It's old Greg. I watched that back when that was like new on TV. The Mighty Boosh. Weird show.
You were new
man.
on TV?
It's a weird show.
When were you on TV?
I wasn't. Actually, I was once in 2010. But
I was on TV in like 2007.
There you go.
We went to a park that had there was a musical we went to at a local play with a bunch of actors, which I wanted to get into, which you did. I didn't. I'm very jealous of your career, and especially Geeks. So I was never able to go into acting, but there was a play with a bunch of actors.
Oh, I never did it as a career though. I just was like, it's just
no. I'm sure.
Same with
remembering back on it now. This was a bunch of high school students and pre-college students.
Okay.
Community college students.
Okay.
Like, watch Community and you'll know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. I've watched Community.
Okay. Imagine the actors from Community as the characters playing as people singing a song about Bulgarian shoes.
That's weird. Okay, but wait, why were you on TV in 2007, Jesse?
Because we went to that play and they interviewed us about the show.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, and they're like, "Hi, you're a student from this place. How do you think about this Bulgarian shoes?"
What did you think of it?
I don't know. They're like, "We're Bulgarian people about singing something about Bulgarian shoes," and I'm like, "I don't even know where Bulgarian is. Our geography class is bullshit."
Fair enough.
Also, sorry, Geeky, if you're listening.
My being on TV story was in 2010. I was in the Olympics closing ceremonies that were hosted in Vancouver here.
That is a lot better than me talking about Bulgarian shoes.
Well, not really, because like the part I was in, there was like the performers. It was like literally like my part was like one of 1,000 people that was supposed to be like in a crowd. So there's like one part. There's like a crowd of people wearing identical white outfits with fake snowboards. And I was one of those 1,000 people.
Fake snowboards?
Yeah, and here's a true story. My wife was also
there.
Have
you ever been snowboarding?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been snowboarding. Snowboarding's really fun, actually.
Okay.
But these were fake snowboards.
High five.
But
Daniel, high five!
There. True story. My wife was also in that crowd in that ceremony. But
before you got married?
But it was 5 months before we met.
Oh.
So we were both there in that same crowd in the same ceremony 5 months before we met. True story. It was weird. It was cool. True story. But
okay.
That's the coolest part of that story. Charles is apparently dipping. Charles, thanks for being here.
No.
Good night.
For those who don't know, this nonsense we've been talking is for everyone in the chat to give us good questions.
Well, here's one from Still Sane Shane in the Discord. Have you ever learned anything from a Zelda game, such as a skill, fact, etc., that you have used in real life? For example, cooking from Breath of the Wild. So, Jesse, yours is the word vortex existing, right?
Oh, Jesus.
We've told that story a few times, I think, but yeah.
Can I give you a different story?
Yeah, please.
because I know Bree will mention this because I forced her to watch this movie.
Okay. Cool. Great story. Thanks, Jesse.
No, I was trying to look for questions
story.
from the stuff that we put out. While I'm talking about this, maybe you can check our Discord to see if anyone mentioned anything. But yeah, so there was other than that horrible vortex story, which is why I had a failing grade in one of my classes in 5th grade because of Ocarina of Time, and the teacher was behind the times.
Didn't believe that the word vortex existed.
Miss Tolliver's daughter at this point, because I assume Miss Tolliver's sadly passed away because she was already like 80.
Oh no.
Because like my dad, when he was alive, was 30 years older than I.
Mm-hmm.
And him being 30 years older than I, which meant he was like 40 or 50 at the, I would say 40 because I'm in like 10th grade.
So are we ending? Are we this concluding the vortex story with? Oh, but she died.
And then because she was a teacher, she was like 20, 30 years older than my dad because she also taught my dad.
Okay.
So instead of being, because my dad was 30 years older than I, so
okay.
At the time he was probably 40. She taught him, so she should have been like
She
at
would be
least
old.
60 to 70 at the time.
Yeah.
It's been like 20 years since then, so she would either be 90 something or she had sadly passed away by now. So if Miss Tolliver's daughter's watching now,
Mm-hmm.
I apologize if I say anything rude. But what happened was I was playing Ocarina of Time. There's a word called Vortex. There's a whole vacuum cleaner brand named after Vortex because it's just like the whirlpool when like air sucks up stuff, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what they called it. There is a phenomenal, amazing YouTube channel that has not had sadly any videos in a long time called 𝗿𝗃𝗃 Gaming.
Very
They
sad.
used to do Zelda theories. She had a lot of tremendous videos on her channel about Zelda theories that you all can go check out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of other examples of vortex or whatever being used in words or other definitions
Mm-hmm.
that use the word vortex. And I sadly used that word in one of my stories when we were in 5th grade. We had to write a book using all of our friends, and sadly I based mine off of Majora's Mask in Ocarina of Time, where we had different masks that gave us different capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
The Majora's Mask influence. The Ocarina of Time influence came from the Lost Woods, where you're going through different portals, and
Mm-hmm.
like the ones that warp you to Zora's Domain, Goron City, I guess, Goron Village, whatever they called it at the time,
Right.
and everything. And I called those vortexes.
Right.
And it ended with all of us, like, just, there's a bridge at the very end. We threw our masks off the bridge because good, positive ending, which I learned way before I wrote the book, a good ending, you didn't need to go to different places or worlds or dimensions or anything to live a happy life with the people that you already know and have fun with your friends.
That's cool.
So we threw all of our masks off the bridge, which allowed us to go through those portals in the Lost Woods, or vortexes, if you don't know, which Ocarina of Time called the weird water portals and the water temple.
Yeah. Those
After
were
you get the long
vortexes.
shot. Yes.
Yeah.
And my teacher was like, "That's not a word." And I'm like, "Yes, I think it is." And she's like, "Look it up in the dictionary." For some reason at the time it was not in our dictionary. I imagine because I lived in a small city that had like 2 stores at the time, because we had maybe 100 students through kindergarten to 5th grade. So
Wow.
the state didn't care about education that much for that town, so they didn't give us a lot. And even they prided themselves of you using the same textbook that your father or mother used
Oh, that's not
when
a good.
they were in the school 20 or 30 years ago.
That's a weird brag.
That is a true story.
That's not a good thing to be proud of. That's
No.
You shouldn't. No.
They prided themselves on that. If you wound up with the same textbook that your parent used 20 or 30 years ago, that is a 100% true story. And I ended up having to go to the office, and they were like, "Well, it's not in the dictionary." And I'm like, "Well, maybe the dictionary's not upgraded." And they're
It's
like,
not.
"Well, maybe that's just not a word." And I ended up failing that test. Everyone. So that is the story Daniel was referring to.
That is true story.
In that time that I spent, I hope, Daniel, have you been able to find a question?
I was listening too intently. But I'm trying to think. I don't think there's really a skill I've learned from a video game that I've applied to real life. There's definitely some like morals.
Amber,
maybe.
Alabama, in the chat just says, "That's awesome." And I'm like, "No, because I got in trouble for that."
Oh. Yeah. I can't think of anything that I've learned from games that I could apply to real life, or that I have applied to real life.
What can you tell us about Johnny Depp and Amber?
I have like cooking was the example that he used in the question, but like I've been cooking since I was like probably too young to have been cooking, so
That's what my answer is. Well,
so I don't know if I could say cooking. I snowboarded in Twilight Princess before I ever snowboarded in real life. Yeah, I don't know.
I would say Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, but snowboarding in Twilight Princess was actually a factor in me actually snowboarding.
Right.
So I'll say that as well.
There you go. There you go. Although the snowboarding I did in real life was like I was like with an instructor and like learning how to do it.
It
So
had nothing to do about making soup.
had nothing to do with soup or Yetis, so it wasn't quite the same experience. No Yetis. No Yetis were involved. All right, peeps in the chat, you got to throw us one more question. One more
I forgot,
question.
did you ever check the Discord?
I did. That question I just pulled out of the Discord. I just pulled that one from
I
the Discord.
apologize, everyone in Discord.
But that's the only one that's new that's there, so. Bonnie says the Vortex story is sad, but what's really sad is you could have watched Obi-Wan with Bree by now.
Wait, what?
Have you watched Obi-Wan, Jesse?
Who said that?
Bonnie. Bonnie said that just now. Have you watched Obi-Wan, Jesse?
No, I
That's a no.
I have. We were talking about watching that earlier, though. She hasn't watched it. How do you know this, Bonnie?
She pays
Have you
attention.
been... Do you know the passwords to my social media?
She does. It's good though, right? What do you think of it?
Have you watched the 4 episodes?
Yeah, I'm up to date. I still haven't watched Moon Knight, but I've been keeping up with Obi-Wan. So... No, I'm really enjoying it, actually. I'm enjoying it.
It is good. It makes sense. I've seen the complaints from people online,
Yeah, the complaints
but it
don't make
makes
to me.
sense.
People are like, it's breaking canon.
No, it doesn't
It
make
doesn't.
sense.
It doesn't break canon at all. But
No, it doesn't. That's not. So, I probably left after I seen the first complaint, but it was like,
was it about the Grand
why?
Inquisitor?
Oh, no, it was like Obi-Wan or Kenobi was so great in the prequels, and he's like really great in the original trilogy.
Is he?
But during this middle time, it's like he doesn't know anything. And I'm like, well, yeah, because in the first episode he mentions, I'm not the same Jedi it was before, which means he has to relearn all that stuff, and then he ends up learning even more, which allows him to become the original Obi-Wan Kenobi we see in the original trilogy. So in my head, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. He spent 10 years, whatever, watching after this boy.
Yeah,
and then
he's roughing it in the
it
desert.
takes him however long the rest of the series lasts. The 30 years until the new prequels, or 15
the original
years,
trilogy.
I guess.
Here's a question for you, Jesse. Have you watched like Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff?
Yes, yes.
Really?
Even the last season, after they canceled the original series on Disney and then they started making it again on Disney Plus.
Do you watch
I
Rebels
watched
as well?
them too. Yeah, Rebels takes
Rebels is after
that.
Obi-Wan, yeah. So, I mean...
No. I know it's after, but like even after Rebels, there was, what was the other series they made? The cartoon series?
Resistance? I haven't watched that one.
Yeah,
That's after
Resistance.
the original
Because
trilogy.
they stopped Rebels so Disney Plus could make Resistance. And they made 1 or 2 seasons of Resistance. They were like, oh, people liked Rebels more than this.
Yeah, because Rebels was good.
We halfway started... Yeah, and they were like, we halfway started Rebels before we cut it off and started Resistance. So let's go back to making Rebels. So it's because they had like all the concepts they released for the final season of Rebels, and then they actually went back a couple of years later and made Rebels.
But, okay, spoilers for anyone. When Obi-Wan shows up in that one episode of Rebels, it's awesome. It's awesome. That's all I gotta say.
When Obi-Wan shows up in the first episode of Kenobi,
Also awesome.
he's also awesome.
Anytime he's on screen is great, honestly.
You know who's my favorite character?
Sorry?
Characters.
Obi-Wan
I
is
don't mean
one
to
of
be
my
racist.
favorite
Characters.
Star Wars characters.
Who's the
Always has been.
the desert race? They're always like stealing everyone's stuff.
The
and
Jawas?
talking and like, yeah, the Jawas.
Yeah.
They're always my favorite. But my favorite single character is Watto.
Water?
Watto.
Oh, Watto. I thought you said water, and I'm like, what? What are you
that would be
talking
great
about?
in a desert situation? But Watto, yes.
Rebels was really good. Also Clone Wars. I thought Obi-Wan in
Skip
that
over
show
Watto.
was.
It's like, yeah, Watto is your favorite.
Yeah,
But Rebels was
I don't know why Watto's your favorite, to be honest. But okay, I'll accept that. Okay, but
Anakin.
Clone Wars also really like shows Obi-Wan's, like, for lack of better words, his badass side. Like, the dude is so good of a duelist. He gets in a rematch against Maul and 𝗍𝗵𝗲, and he like hacks a limb off of each of them while he's backed into a corner.
No. Who's Watto?
Watto, the junk trader who literally owned slave boy Anakin. You know, hey, what the? Hey. Oh, it's a Jedi! That guy. You're a Jedi. Mind tricks don't work on me.
Yes. If you seen my retweet yesterday, that is Watto.
That's Watto, yeah. You're a Jedi. Mind tricks don't work on me.
Who can Sam knows?
Wait, this is weird. This is a weird nose.
Yeah. Like the Fruit Loops bird.
Okay, Natsu asked us a question. Who would win in a death battle? Sweeney Todd or Edward Scissorhands? So I'm going to say Sweeney Todd just for the fact that Edward Scissorhands doesn't seem like the fighting type. Like, he's a gentle soul who just unfortunately
he's a nice guy.
Yeah,
he's just unfortunately...
he just happens to have these scissor hands.
Someone melded knives onto his hands. That's not his fault.
It's not his fault. He's a very gentle soul.
But you know whose fault it is?
Not Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd.
No, it is Sweeney Todd's fault. No, but Sweeney Todd's...
he makes the choice. Like, oh, you're selling pies? How would you like meat pies? How would you like to make a whole freaking musical based off of it?
Yeah. So,
and how would you like to hire half of the B characters from the first 3 Harry Potter movies?
Mm-hmm. Thing is, like, as Edward is a gentle person, Sweeney Todd is not as dangerous physically, but it's the mentality.
Yeah, I think that's based off a true story as well.
It's the whole attitude, you know?
Yeah.
You know, he would probably trick Edward. He'd be like, I'll give you a haircut because you seem to have some trouble giving yourself one. And why don't you sit down in this chair? And then he just kills him. and
Would you like a meat pie? Would you like us to make a song about
make you a meat
the
pie while you wait? Yeah, that's what happens, man. That's it.
It's like, why do you have a shaft going down to your basement over your haircutting seat? I don't understand. It's like, oh, you don't have to worry about it. Slit.
Oh, you're dead. Oh, Bonnie says, don't call Helena Bonham Carter a B character. Well, only in Harry Potter. Not in other
Who's
roles, of
Helena
course.
Bonham Carter?
She was in Sweeney Todd and Harry Potter, Jesse.
Oh, yeah. She's the main character.
like Tim Burton's wife.
No. I mean Ratface.
Tim Burton's wife, who he always casts to be in a relationship
The
with Johnny
guy
Depp.
that I call Ratface is he was
why'd
the
you call him
friend
that?
in the what was it, the map they looked at, the Geek, if you're watching this, I apologize. I know the name of it. The
Marauders map.
The
Marauders map.
What? Yeah, the Marauders map. He was a part of the original Marauders. He was the one that betrayed everyone and was like, oh, there's a motorcycle accident, and then he turned into a rat so that he could betray the rest.
As you
And
do.
Wolf Boy got put into Azkaban, and he got away free because they were like, well, we can't find the body. So unlike American law, they were like, well, we can't find the body, so you had to have killed him and done something with the body.
Mm-hmm.
But really, it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel knows.
All right. Viram asked, what's your favorite Star Trek series, assuming if you're
Oh, we're
Trekkies.
talking about Rat Boy.
Yeah, but they asked, so we got to answer. Also, I would say TNG, but I'm not that much of a Trekkie. But Picard is better than Kirk, so I said it.
Apparently, you reminded Bree of who the slave guy was.
Oh yeah, what?
I was trying to explain.
It was my.
I was trying. Yeah,
it was
I was
my
trying to explain Grotto to her
impression.
earlier.
It was my spot-on
And I was-
impression.
The only way I had to explain it to her was like, oh, it was the guy that like made
You have to do
Anakin
the
a slave
impression.
when
Yeah,
he
you
was
gotta
a
do the
young
voice.
boy.
That's why.
And then he ran the races.
Well, he didn't. He just bet on the races. He didn't run the races. But he
I
bet.
thought he like basically owned everyone.
No, he just owned Anakin and his mom. But you got to do the
He
voice.
was
That's
a slave
why.
trader.
You got to do the voice. Hey, your Jedi mind tricks don't work on me.
Okay.
You got to do.
Finish this question and then we'll do one final question. What was this question?
Star Trek.
But he says that actually was spot on. Do it again. Ask this question in the credible.
What was your
The
Star
water
Trek of
voice.
choice,
Water
Jesse? That was the question
voice.
for it. We're on. Your Star Trek of choice.
In your Watto voice.
What is your favorite Star Trek? Assuming you're a Trekkie, huh? that was a little less good.
Now you answer. My answer is a bit sad, so I'll get to that.
Your answer is which one? Sorry, I wasn't listening. I was doing the water.
My answer is a bit sad, so I'll answer that when you answer first.
I already did. I said TNG.
What do those initials stand for? For those who
The
may
Next
not
Generation.
know. Not that I don't know, but for those who
Star Trek:
may not
The
know.
Next Generation. It's because Picard is better
What
than
is the
Kirk.
Next Generation for those who don't know?
It's Star Trek. Okay, can we move on? Jeez, just answer the question, Jesse. People can Google it if they really want.
Okay, so the new Star Trek movies has an actor in them. Used to have an actor in them, Anton Yelchin.
Oh yes, yeah.
He, from what I remember, he had stopped his car, got out to close the gate to his house or his driveway, and when he closed his gate, the car kept going, and he passed away. He is one of my favorite actors in general. He was in the movie of
He was Charlie Bartlett, right? And
yes,
Yeah.
Charlie Bartlett,
Yeah.
where he was
he was Charlie.
selling
Bartlett.
He's basically selling depression pills from the bathroom stall.
Right. Good movie.
With the girl from
Kat Dennings.
Kat Dennings.
Yeah.
She was in the movie. That was one of my favorite movies. I think the cover of the movie, I first seen it, I went into Food City, which is one of the larger grocery stores, and this.
And Robert Downey Jr.'s Kat Dennings' dad in that movie.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. was also in it, which they also both played in Avengers. But I seen him on it, and I didn't know she was in it or he was in it, or anything about her, him, or Robert Downey Jr. But there was a cover where like he just looked like he was sad with his face halfway down and a bunch of pancakes, and I was like, "This is the movie I'm gonna rent," because that's how I feel.
Fair enough. That's a good movie.
And I rented it, and I was like, "Oh, that's the girl from this movie," and I was like, "That's the Robert Downey Jr. from Iron Man," and that's blah blah blah. And I watched it, and I was like, "Oh, I love this movie." And then he had one movie where he was seeing like there's like he could see ghosts or spirits. It was like warning him of the future. It was like a weird half horror movie. And I let my brother watch it, my little brother, and it was a really great movie. And then like a week or two later, he ended up passing away because of the sad accident. And it was like after, like I didn't even know he was in the Star Trek movies when I watched them, because this like he did such a good job with that character that I just related it to the actual Star Trek character that he was portraying. So when I watched these movies, and then he was in another one that was like Winter or November something, where for some reason, once again, he was selling prescription pharmaceuticals.
Right.
And it was another one of my favorite movies. He was the main character in it as well. And yeah, like he's one of my favorite actors from a few of my favorite movies, which makes me really sad. But I would say because of him, the new Star Trek movies, at least the first two, were some of my favorites.
That's fair.
Of all time.
Now here's a question for you. We have a super chat, but before we get to that, have you ever watched the show Troll Hunters?
Yes.
Yeah.
He does the voice.
That was his last.
My little brother loved them.
It was his last
and
performance.
There was a sad moment. Yeah. He does the main character, and there was a really sad moment when I had to tell my brother, it was like, "Oh, they're probably not going to make any more of these." And he's like, "Why?" And I'm like, No, that they do.
They do.
And I was like, but he was like, "This reminds me so much of Zelda. Netflix should make a Zelda show." And I'm like, "Well, they're probably not going to make any more of these." And he's like, "Why?" And I'm like, I don't know if I should tell him.
Yeah. Well, they recast
I'm
him,
like,
I think,
Netflix.
at a good time.
Yeah. At the time, I think I said something like, "Well, Netflix only wants to make 3 seasons of any shows anyway."
Fair play. Except for The Crown is getting its 5th season soon. But we got a super chat from Viram.
Yes.
Who says that Watto impression deserves a donation. Annie, Jedi, what do you know?
I guess we'll be sending you $4.99 more later on today.
Thank you for the super chat there. Annie, Jedi.
He's also the magician kid on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh.
Sadly, I never watched that.
Doing the Watto voice is ruining my throat, guys, so I'm going to stop.
Everyone who is listening, you have a final chance after we finish our normal outro. If you have another question, you can ask it. But in the meantime, Daniel, where can people find you?
If they want to, they can find all of my social medias. There's in the
Low
description
chance.
before.
Not that anyone would want to
They
do
don't
that.
want to, but if they did want to, hypothetically, they could check the video
for me.
description right now of the thing you're watching. Everything is at Capt Bergerson. That's CAPTBURGERSON. I do videos and streams. We talk about Zelda. We play Zelda. We look at Zelda dungeons. We play games that are not Zelda also. It's a good time. It's a good time. Thank you, Natsu, for the amiibo notification. I gotta get on that. I'm like elbow deep in editing this next dungeon design video for finally looking at Breath of the Wild dungeons. So it's exciting stuff. I'm really looking forward to how that video turns out. But if you want to look at videos or watch videos about other Zelda dungeons, I have a whole playlist. We've done like 40 of them now almost. So it's good stuff. It's good bingeable content, as some have said. So yeah, go give that a watch. Come hang out with me on my streams every Wednesday and Saturday. Yeah. Jesse, what about yourself?
Yes. I am typing right now.
Okay. Aaron asked a question. Would you ever try paragliding off a building in real life? No, I'm too much of a wimp.
Hell no.
I'm a
Sorry,
wimp.
geek.
I'm a wimp. I will not.
Yeah. So Natsu, I think, mentioned from Food City, the grocery store here in Tennessee. Someone else mentioned they were also a fan of my favorite bands in Falling in Reverse or Escape the Fate, who also lived in Tennessee. And I was like, yeah, we can hang out sometime next time I go to the city. And it's been like 2 years, and I've just never made it to that city ever again. So, apologies. But yeah, if anyone has a final question, you can ask us.
Natsu, I
But
just
paragliding, have you ever thought about it, Daniel? How would you like to go paragliding with
I will
Locke?
not. I won't. I'm a wimp. Too much of a wimp. I'm sorry.
Yeah, me as well.
Natsu asked, overall, which do you prefer, Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time?
Majora's Mask.
Yep. I love them both. I love them both so much. But I find I revisit Majora's Mask more often, and I just think the mechanics and the side quests and stuff, the transformations, all that good stuff is just better in that game. But this is not to say anything bad about Ocarina of Time. That game is a masterpiece.
Yeah, not that Ocarina sucks.
Yeah.
Or that they should have had an ending to the Running Man.
I think that the ideal thing is just to play them both, like Ocarina of Time, and then just play Majora's Mask right after. Like I think that's the best. I think
that's the original thought as well.
Yeah.
It's like you wanted Zora's Domain to unfreeze. Okay, you can do it in Majora's Mask, but we changed it from the Gorons to the Zoras.
Right.
No, wait. It was still the Gorons.
What?
Because it's spring.
Yeah, that's a
It all unthaws in the spring.
Now
So it's like we still did all the stuff we wanted to do, but it's just in Majora's Mask. Because no one wanted to buy the disc drive in Japan, so we just moved it all over to Majora's Mask. I think that was the idea, right?
I mean, it started as an expansion, right? So
yeah. And then they redid it once again in Twilight Princess, where you have to drop the giant thing into
Zora's Domain.
Where is it? Zora's Domain.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Big old volcanic rock.
𝗵𝗲 in the chat. I like watching WWE and wrestling, but I'm embarrassed to say that Kane, the old wrestler, Glenn Jacobs, is the mayor of Knox County.
Really?
Knoxville. Huh. He's not, I would say he's more Republican than Democrat, but he's not either. He's like some independent party, but it's mostly just a party for rich people to where, despite everything closing down during whatever it was that caused us to close down. I don't imagine what it was, but he was like, well, they're stupid. They should just keep working so that all the business owners could make money. And it's like, well, what about the people that's only being paid like $7, $8 an hour? And they don't want to go risk their lives of some disease. And they're like, well, then maybe they shouldn't have jobs. And it's like, okay, well, then you agree. Maybe you should pay them then. And that gets into all the politics. And I don't like him. So we're not going to talk about any of that. So, Daniel.
I know nothing about this. So
no, you don't, because you're Canadian.
This is true.
Health insurance should be free anyways. But anyways.
Jesse, I already said where to find
Majora's Mask.
Yes, it's very good. Where
Yeah,
can people
it
find you,
is.
Jesse?
People can find me in your basements.
Correct.
They can deliver the mail to something weird numbers, weird letters, Vancouver, Canada, weird numbers, weird letters. Something ends with a 3, I'm gonna guess, and then and a half, and the half stands for the basement.
Sure. Jesse gets confused because we have postal codes instead of zip codes, and they're just formatted differently.
It's been a long time since I've seen letters or numbers because of Daniel, so I just get them confused anyways.
That's true. That's okay. It's not your fault, Jesse. Yeah. I think this wraps us
I
up.
don't know. Hold on.
What? Okay.
I do want to check one more thing,
Okay.
just to
All
make
right.
sure we don't have another
All right.
question.
I think we answered all the questions that we've got. Except for Natsu asking how you shave when all you get is old shoes from me. That's when I throw down an old ice skate. And he uses that. It's still a shoe, if you think about it. But it's got a blade on it, so that Jesse can shave.
Yeah, it's just very dull.
It's just very dull. But it works.
Well, like, if it's not long
technically.
enough for me to grab a hold of and pull while I like spend an hour sawing through it, then it basically doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's Pinky in the brain. It's Pinky in the brain. Amber is correct. We will end on that. Daniel, hi.
Hi.
Do you have anything coming up people can check out? You have a video scheduled for tomorrow.
I don't actually have a video scheduled for
You have a
tomorrow.
live stream scheduled for tomorrow.
For the day after. For Saturday night, we're going to finish Shovel Knight. Because I started into that game last weekend and actually made a lot of progress. So I think I can finish it. So, Saturday night. Other than that, Skyward Sword on Wednesday. Hopefully by next week. By end of next week, hopefully, I'll have a video done and ready. We'll see. We'll see. Jesse.
Victoria has a question.
I'm worried for what that question would be, to be honest. If I'm
Okay,
being
quick
honest.
question. Answer just a single sentence.
Okay.
You could make a sequel to any Zelda game. What would it be?
Majora's Mask. We get that third Hero of Time game.
Okay. Well, good thing we're ending because some losers in the chat are spamming again. So
There we
good
go.
night, everyone.
Good night,
We love
everybody.
you. Don't be a loser.
Those are wise words. Don't be a bot.
I was going to end the chat, but you're in control.
Now I will do it. Thank you all, everybody, for watching. Thank you to all of the lovely people here who decided to super chat. Thank you for everybody who stayed on even though the stream cut out and died. Thankfully, it did it right between segments, so it's not too weird. But still, appreciate you all being here. I'll change the thumbnail soon so that it's different than the other one. Love you all. Appreciate you all. And bye-bye. Say goodbye to this statue of Zelda. Bye.